Hey everyone, welcome back. Sorry I'm a day late. There's been some recent changes in my work life, which has kind of moved timing around for some stuff, but here to talk about New Comic Book Day of September 24th and all of my picks ranked from worst to best. So I do have a time limit today. I need to get some stuff done, so this is going to be kind of unedited a little bit. The nice transitions are not going to be there, which I know you're really all here for, so I'm sorry. But anyway, starting off, it would help if I counted how many books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books this week, which I know does not line up with the books I talked about on my pull list last week. But I basically, when I'm in the store, I see more stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'll just pick that up and try it. So, one thing that was on my pull list, I wasn't the biggest fan of issue 1, but did get All New Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 2, written by Stephanie Phillips, with the artist Paolo Villanelli. Oh boy, Villanelli. It's Spanish. I don't know the double. I'm not sure I've ever seen double L's twice in one name. Any Spanish-speaking folks that are listening, please let me know. So yeah, the first issue I thought was okay. Wasn't super in love with it. And the second issue, I think I'm gonna drop the series. I didn't find any of it really engaging. I thought the art was pretty good. And I like Stephanie Phillips a lot, just from like listening to her speak about the process of creating comics and all the behind the scenes stuff, like on her TikTok. She seems like an awesome person, but yeah, the book just isn't working for me. I don't really care about Fabian or her dad or anything, and the mystery hasn't hooked me. So yeah, that comes in last place, number 11 for me this week. Number 10, Ultimate Spider-Man number 21. 24 is the last issue before there's probably a new creative team coming onto the book, so it won't be Hickman anymore. But yeah, it's the previous issue got a lot of flack for being kind of that dinner table issue for the second time in the series, where they kind of just all sat around and talked, which I kind of gave grace to. I actually kind of liked, but yeah, this issue, like, it's totally fine. But it seems so close to the end. It seems like a super weird time to have an entire issue focus on building up Mr. Negative, especially in just not necessarily the most interesting way. I mean, the ending, spoilers, like the cliffhanger is good, where basically Gwen and the Council of Mysterios blow up after Wesley's betrayal, after Mr. Negative got to him, but I don't know, it just wasn't very exciting. And for me, exciting doesn't equate to action every single time, but even just the plot was not super engaging. So I guess rating for it, for All New Spider-Gwen, I'd give that like a 2 out of 5. Ultimate Spider-Man 21, give like a 2.75. We're gonna get into quarter points, I guess. Number 9, Twilight Zone blanks. I've seen bits and pieces of Twilight Zone episodes, and I love the premise of them. How it's an anthology about just kind of the weird parts on the outskirts and edges of society and possibilities and the supernatural. Premise of this book is this very rich man basically has funneled millions and millions of dollars into finding a cure for aging because he has stomach cancer and has less than a year left to live. So on this remote island, he has this research team basically treating a bunch of folks, and they finally perfect the formula for eternal life. and he forces the doctors to administer it to him before proper testing. So they do it. He wakes up. He looks like 20 years younger. It's like it worked. But then every single person around him has turned into a blank. So the cure worked for him, but when it left his body through the air, basically it mutated and created an island full of these blank-faced people. So, like, I thought the premise was interesting. I don't know, and sorry, this was by Dan Waters, and who is the artist? Who is the artist? Well, you know, there it is, Morgan Bean. So, yeah, it's for these kind of anthology stories where you basically get an issue and then you're done. I feel like these need to be kind of larger issues than the standard length like these are. Because the end of the story basically ends with the rich guy taking the helicopter off of the island because he wants to go see his son, even though the doctor warned him that he could basically end the world if the mutation happened to everyone else once he got back and it spread. So I feel like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I would have liked to see what happens next, but again, that's part of the Twilight Zone vibe, is the mystery. So I think I'll pick up the next one, and again, with this being an anthology, each issue is going to be written by someone different. So the next issue, it looks like, is by Tom Scioli. So I'll give this a shot. It looks like it's I think it's a 5-issue miniseries, so I'll pull the whole series. And maybe, if I'm in a very spooky mood, kind of read them all back to back once they are there and done. Next up, so for the Twilight Zone, I'd give that a 3 out of 5. Justice League Unlimited number 11. You might be saying, Ross, you've never talked about Justice League Unlimited here before. Why are you on number 11? The answer is I'm not caught up on Justice League, but this was a prelude to DCKO book. So I'm very excited for DCKO. I'm obviously very skeptically optimistic about it because I love tournament brackets, March Madness, sports, everything like that comes down to competition. I love it, and I love the bracket that they've put out. Always skeptical that, it's big events for comic companies, I feel like, do have a losing track record of being good. So we'll see what happens, but I picked this up just to see kind of what the deal was, and funnily enough, this came out the same week as Mr. Terrific Year 1, number 5, and Mr. Terrific's basically the main character in this as well, for the majority of the story. Parademons are attacking the Watchtower. I'm not sure if any of this has been built up to prior to this, because again, I have not kept up with it, and again, this is by Mark Waid writing, and Carmine John Domenico is the artist. The art's phenomenal. I'm new to Carmine's art, but man, you gotta look to see if he's done some variant covers for just anything, really. You just pick them up, but yeah, Parademons attacking the Watchtower. The Trapster is there on behalf of Darkseid. So he basically puts everything back together in the end, and then the crew gets a call from Superman, who looks like he's just come out of a rift, and he says, "Tell everyone to come to the Watchtower now." And he's carrying a injured Booster Gold. So I know Booster Gold's in the Superman book. I think he's been in the story there. So again, I don't have the background. If I was up to date on Superman and Justice League Unlimited, like, this could rank much, much higher. With that being said, this has made me interested in going back and reading everything up until this point. I half for the art and half just for the leaguers that I saw in here. Like Martian Manhunter I'm a sucker for Martian Manhunter, and his design is really, really perfect here. Power Girl is here. You see Black Lightning, who again was also in the Mr. Terrific issue this week. So yeah, this is my number 8. 11, 10, 9, yep, 8. I'd give this like a 3.25. Hold on one sec. I think I keep kicking the power cable out of my laptop. Yep. There we go. And we're back. So, next up, number 7. Ultimate Hawkeye. I'll get the tilt right the first time one of these times. Ultimate Hawkeye number 1. Originally thought this was going to be a series. This is a one-shot. That affected my enjoyment. So I'm not up to date on Ultimates, where Hawkeye was introduced. I mean, I like the character design for Hawkeye. I think it's a cool redesign, and the premise that what's the intro text here? Charlie Ramsey became one of these recruits by mistake when the man who was supposed to become the hero Hawkeye abandoned his bow and arrow. So I think that's an interesting premise, that Clint kind of had the option and said, no, I'm good. And so this issue consists of Charlie Ramsey finding basically what ends up being like a Roxxon, like underground black market, like messed up party. But they're ready for him. He's there to assassinate a senator, I believe. I would say my favorite part of the whole issue is he gets shot by basically like a tranq dart. And as he starts to kind of lose consciousness, the art changes from the traditional art to, I think in the captions it says like a Max Fleischer cartoon, and you can kind of see like it gets more and more cartoony as the page goes on, which is cool. And then he basically goes through kind of a mini version of Saw, where he has to pick one of two things to move forward. And did he pick the right thing? Nope. Picked the wrong thing. He has to bash his hand in to get through the door. Uh-oh. And then this culminates in a final fight against, you guessed it, Clint Barton as the Ronin. And whoever loses gets killed, and their entire family gets killed. So, they fight to a standstill. Ronin basically has Charlie on the ropes. Charlie pulls out this like flashbang arrow that blinds Clint, and then Clint just turns to gold and loses. I don't know why he turned to gold, but the last page is just kind of like, oh, I need to see my family. I underestimated Roxxon. But that's it. That's the one shot. Maybe this is actually above Justice League. I was pretty disappointed in this. I'll keep it here. At least for most of the art I actually liked. And this is by, I really need to say these at the beginning so I don't have this happen every single time. Art is by writer. It's written by Taboo. There's so many names on the front of this issue. Is this one of these things where they just don't put like the title page anymore? So I don't know who did what. No, it's at the end, of course. So for there's a prologue section with Ulysses Claw that was written by Dennis Camp, who I love, with art by Juan Frigieri, color Federico Blee, and then the main story is written by B. Earl and Taboo, artist Michael Stamaria, and color Alex Sinclair. I'd give this like a 3.25, I guess. I'd give it the same ranking as Justice League Unlimited. And kind of a surprise for me personally, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. My memory is horrific. Oh my god, what did I just say? 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6. Oh my god. Absolute Wonder Woman number 12. is probably the lowest I've been on the series so far, and I think mostly it's simply because I'm sick of her being in the maze, and she gets out of it at the end of this finally. So I'm incredibly excited about issue 13 and kind of what the next phase of this looks like. I know the issue that comes out in January is the first Absolute crossover with Absolute Batman. So, I mean, the thing with Kelly Thompson's Absolute Wonder Woman is that there's no bad issues. And like Hayden Sherman's art is phenomenal. In this issue, we see Diana fight Clea, who's revealed to be an Atlantean, which kind of makes sense with the Poseidon Trident at the end of the last issue. But she's been trapped in the maze just like everyone else, and has just basically taken control. Like, she's eats her man-fish people for sustenance because there's no other way to get food down there. So basically Diana busts a big hole in the maze to let water come in and frees Clea and her fish people back out into the sea, because they're really just kind of raging against the people in the maze because they couldn't get out. And Clea's kind of a jerk, so Diana's like, hope I don't regret that. But I loved this page of Diana escaping and just like flying out. It's so cool. She makes her way back to the base. Io, who was about to step through the portal to go back to Wonder Woman's base to meet up with everyone else, got teleported away at the last second, and she ends up back in Themyscira. And Hippolyta finds her, aka Diana's biological mother. And Io tells her, I've seen Diana, she's alive. And so Hippolyta celebrates, tell the city, Diana lives. And so now we will get to see that dynamic where Diana actually interacting with the rest of the Amazons, basically. So that will be interesting. There was a backup story as well. Not a backup story, I get. Yeah, it is a backup story. Whatever. Where we see basically discussion about the maze and the entire lower level has been lost to us. It seemed like this was kind of just a big experiment on behalf of this organization in Area 41. And you get this double page splash of the doctor, researcher walking through all these experiments. And then the big bombshell is dropped. It looks like you're finally going outside after all, Zatanna. So we're introduced to Absolute Zatanna, who has been a prisoner. And the research lady says, I'm going to send you to kill a witch. So again, I think this arc, this was a 5-part arc. I think this will read really well in trade, but month to month, I found myself just kind of tiring. It didn't seem like there was a ton of progress from issue to issue during this specific arc. So again, not bad. I would give this like a 3-5, with the caveat that I'm incredibly excited for next month's issue. So that was number, say it with me, folks, 6. Top 5. Number 5 was one I was not originally going to pick up, but then the hype got me, which is Skinbreaker number 1 by Robert Kirkman and David Finch. I have recently finished reading all of The Walking Dead, which turned into one of my favorite stories of all time. So I'm like, just pick up the number 1. It's an 8-issue series. It's not ongoing. It's not going to go on forever. And just check it out. So I did. One of the main reasons I wasn't going to check it out at first is just because I wasn't super into the aesthetic. Like kind of like primal caveman, little sci-fi. I don't like the kind of primal caveman type of aesthetic. But the story is interesting. I feel like for an 8-issue series, more needed to happen in this first one. I will say I'm very conflicted on the art. So when I first opened to, so after the first page with like the credits and then the first just opening page, I stayed on this page for like a few minutes just to look at how detailed everything was. It was crazy. And you find out in the back with an interview with Kirkman that Finch is like drawing all these so let's see. I wanted this. With that in mind, David Finch decided to draw this book on massive artboards. Each page is essentially a 2-page spread. So each 2-page spread is roughly 4 pages in size, and then it's shrunk down. So like it's incredibly detailed because when he's drawing these, it's massive. So he's filling in the little details that will be seen on the massive page and then shrunk down. And I think it's beautiful. I really like the majority of it. My issue comes with the coloring. So, which David Finch also does. But it's a lot of like browns and yellows that kind of just fade into each other. This is a great double page splash though. That just kind of fade into each other. Like it's so much yellow and brown. So I like the art a lot. Not the biggest fan of the coloring. I don't necessarily love the character design in like this alien species. But I think while I wish more would have happened, there was enough of a hook to at least get me going to issue number 2. The premise is that this is basically like an old tribe where the father, the kind of elder statesman, and his son, the father is the elder of the tribe, and he's getting old. So any day anyone could challenge him to a fight, and whoever dies, if he would die, then the winner would become the new leader of the tribe. And so his son's trying to help him hunt and make it look like he's still strong, while at the same time there's a challenger who's calling the bloodline weak because in this society, basically, the Skinbreaker is that pink sword, and the chief, when kids come of a certain age, they have a ceremony where basically the children are born. Let me find a good picture of it. Basically kind of like covered in, like, I'm not sure, like almost like a dead snake skin, like after they molt. And the Skinbreaker, if the child is strong enough, the Skinbreaker basically burns them, but it burns away that kind of outer skin. But the chief's grandson is past that age, but the skin will not come off. And so that's seen as a weakness by the other bloodlines. I got, like, I don't know if it's just because it's like a primitive tribal alien species on this planet, but it kind of gave me Avatar vibes. And I don't like Avatar, the Avatar movies, James Cameron's Avatar. I've never liked them at all. Visually, I've thought they've been interesting, but everything else I've not been a big fan of. So, again, interested to see where this goes. Probably give this a 3.5 as well. Again, the art, I feel like David Finch, who doesn't do many interiors of books anymore, I feel like I would love to see him drawing something else. Like maybe more sci-fi or something, but yeah, this didn't hit me as much as I wanted it to. Ross's controversial pick of the week. I have not kept up with Wonder Woman. I read the Sovereign arc by Tom King, and I really liked it. And then I read that all on DC Infinite, and then once I got to the end of that arc, I just took a break, but I haven't gone back yet. I know the most recent story arc has been the Mouse Man, and people don't like the Mouseman story arc. So I'm coming into this. Issue 25 is the introduction of the new villain, the Matriarch. So I'm coming into this a little blind, but I really liked a lot of this, and maybe a lot of that is Daniel Samper's art. Daniel Samper might be my favorite artist out there right now, and he's fighting with Dan Mora for that, but man, I love the way he draws Wonder Woman and just the way he draws people, really. You get the shock value of the opening page. 20 years from now, you see an old man's head about to be hung by what looks like the lasso of truth, and that is Bruce Wayne. But then you quickly get into all the Mouseman stuff where 3/4 of the characters only say Mouseman knows, mice have ears. And I totally understand. I don't know how many issues the Mouseman thing's been going on for, but man, I totally get that would get really annoying. So throughout the course of the book, you also see these vignettes of, assumedly around the same time as the Bruce Wayne page, you see other members of the Justice League basically dying. So you get Martian Manhunter there, and all of their final words are basically like, Wonder Woman is coming for you. So I think I'm very interested and intrigued by it. You see Ollie go down in that one, but the Mouseman stuff is incredibly annoying. I will give everyone in the world that, but like Samper's art, like almost makes it worth it. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So, and some people have been mad that the Matriarch kind of comes in at the very end of the book. It's billed as this like introduction of the Matriarch, but you only get her in the last couple pages. I want to get the variant cover. I think it's Dan Mora's variant cover with the Matriarch. But you see the Matriarch has both a Green Lantern ring and a Legionnaire ring. What does that mean? How did she get those? Time will tell. But I'm probably going to start picking up Wonder Woman. I'm going to read the back issues to get caught up. Samper's art is so strong that it almost makes me forget about all the Mouseman stuff. And I might not be saying that if I had been reading all of these issues involving the Mouseman up to this, but I didn't. So I'm excited. So I'd give Wonder Woman number 25, I'd give that a 4 out of 5. Next up, this almost feels like it should be its own thing and not part of the ranking, but whatever. New History of the DC Universe. I read the first 2 on DC Infinite, and these are just really cool, it's a really cool just history of events that happen. This focuses, I think, mostly on the time frame of like the 80s to, what's the last thing that happens here? Barry coming back to life. So yeah, it kind of covers that time period, written by Mark Waid, drawn by Dan Jurgens and Doug Mahnke. And my favorite thing about these new History of the DC Universe is that in the back, it gives you all of the issues where everything happened. Like it tells you which issue each event happened in. So if you want to, you can go on, if you have a DC Infinite subscription, you can just go on and read the actual stories where these things happened. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, not a ton to say. I love the art. I love the history of DC. I'm a DC Comics guy, first and foremost. So having kind of a definitive walk through memory lane from the very beginning is just, it kind of just makes me warm and fuzzy, which is probably sad. I don't know. But New History of the DC Universe, I'd give this a 4 as well. Really, really enjoyed this. Top 3. Number 3, I heard this was the beginning of a new story arc, so I thought it would be a good time to jump in, which is Detective Comics number 1101. And this is written by Tom Taylor, who I recently, over the past month or so, read his Nightwing run with Bruno Redondo, and really, really liked that. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect time to jump in here. Art and color is both by Mikel Janin. And yeah, there's a boat in the harbor that is like a party boat and gets hit by this massive tanker. So Batman gets out there, makes sure everyone is okay on the party boat, then goes up to the tanker, and everyone is just dead. But it doesn't look like there's a bunch of like necessarily defensive wounds. It looks like some people have been dead for a while. Batman counted 41 bodies. Life jackets were easily accessible, but no one was wearing them. Some people who were just fist fighting each other didn't stop when injuries became life-threatening. They just kept hitting each other until they died. There is a doctor or scientist that's dead, who looks like he might have either been pushed or committed suicide by jumping off the top of the boat, but also didn't try to brace his fall. It seems like he just fell on his head and snapped his neck. So obviously something is... Oh God, I love the blue Batman. Thank you, Matt Fraction. Thank you for blue Batman. It looks so clean. But Batman eventually goes down into the hull and finds a boy who's still alive. Boy's not great, though. Boy is diseased and finds a message on the wall: "The fear will end. Gotham, your courage is coming." Signed by the Lion. So, almost seems like kind of a reverse Scarecrow, where whoever the Lion is taking away all fear and inhibitions to the point where, like, it's basically just destroying people and taking away their inhibitions. And Batman takes a body, takes it to third appearance so far of Mr. Terrific, to do kind of an analysis on the body, and to see if he can figure out what is happening. So he says it's a virus that attacks the amygdala, possibly even targeted. Effectively, their fear has been removed. The infected would be uninhibited. If we think of the fight or flight response, only fight is left. And Mr. Terrific reveals in the very last page, spoilers 1, 2, 3, Bruce is infected by it as well. So I think that was a fantastic hook of an opening issue for this arc, and I will for sure be picking this up as we continue on. So very excited by that. So that would get a 4.5 for me. My kind of surprise, I'm surprised. I've liked the entire series up until now, but this issue like made it jump super high, and that is Mr. Terrific Year 1, number 5. So I believe this is a 6-issue miniseries, so this is the penultimate. And this is written by Al Letson with art by Valentin Delandro. And starts off in this kind of fever dream dimension where he maybe sees his son from another universe. I'm not sure. Let me know if I'm missing something, but most of the issue is dedicated to Michael and Black Lightning. So it's really like you get some stuff about Prescott, the kind of evil owner of the reactor that's making everything and everyone sick. You get some stuff about that and her recovering from the explosion, but a lot of this is just like a really good like character piece where you see just a lot of conversation between Black Lightning and Mr. Terrific, because they've been friends for a long time, and there's been a lot of strife and kind of tragedy in both their lives. But the dialogue is just so well written. Like, I totally buy that they've been in this, like, they've been these great friends for years and years and years. And then At the end, stuff starts going down, and so they team up. And it's just a great issue, just about friendship almost more than anything. And he even drops the line from the Superman movie, "'Cause I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific." So good. So good. So, and then get this final splash page with both of them just standing next to each other. Awesome issue. It's just like, man, I think when this is all said and done, I think this is going to be just one fantastic miniseries, limited series, that I will be buying in trade. I hope they put out a deluxe edition. I would love to have this in a prestige format, but yeah, Mr. Terrific Year 1, 4.5 out of 5 for me. And then my number one pick of the week. I was actually a little behind. I had to catch up. There'd only been one issue released, but I didn't read it when it came out. I just read it a couple days ago. Was Escape number 1 from Image Comics, written by Rick Remender and drawn by Daniel Acuna. Actually, I have it right here. So this is the story of, it's basically a war story where soldiers are replaced by these anthropomorphic dogs, more or less. And the first issue was really good. It was brutal. And then issue number 2, basically the vast majority of it, so Milton is behind enemy lines at this point, but the majority of this issue is a flashback to how he met his wife and their entire story back home before the war started. And it's interesting because I feel like, for the most part, this is a pretty standard like war story. Especially, it's kind of framed as like a World War II analog going against the fascists and kind of 40s Americana and that kind of a thing. And I feel like in most cases, it's a pretty standard story, but the change to go from humans to these anthropomorphic dogs. At the end of issue 1, Rick Remender in the letter to the readers was like, why dogs? He's like, I feel like it's been shown that people really care about animals, and I could make my stories emotionally hit harder if I tried that out. So, pretty simple answer to it, but one which, I'm fine with, because I love dogs, and it makes me sad to see dogs sad. So, yeah, you see this entire history between him and his wife, and flashback to where he's at right now behind enemy lines, saying that, I'll never meet my son. He'll just know me as his dad who died in the war, but he has this one last mission. All of his team members died, but he has one last mission to take out this massive gun. So he's going to do everything he can to do that, which he believes will end the war. So, yeah, it was great. The art is phenomenal. And yeah, I love this. This is 5 out of 5 for me. This is my pick of the week. So yeah, highly recommend to pick up Escape, even if you're not like a fan of war fiction necessarily, because I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of war fiction, but it's just good. So recap: number 11, All New Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider. Number 21, Ultimate Spider-Man 21. Did I say 20? 11, that was number 10. Number 9, The Twilight Zone, Blanks. Number 8, Justice League Unlimited. Number 11. Number 7, Ultimate Hawkeye, number 1. Number 6, Absolute Wonder Woman, number 12. Number 5, Skinbreaker, number 1. Number 4, Wonder Woman, number 25. Number 3, New History of the DC Universe, number 3. Nope, that was number 4. Sorry, add a number to all those. My numbers are terrible today, my God. Number 3, Detective Comics, number 1101. Number 2, Mr. Terrific Year 1, number 5, and number 1, Escape, number 2. So yeah, thank you everyone. This really didn't end up being any shorter than my normal videos, but the amount of time it would take me to put in all the transitions would add to my IRL time. So thanks everyone for watching. I do still plan on continuing the image initiation series, and possibly just kind of reviews of other books as a whole. Like I just finished the compact comics version of Far Sector by N.K. Jemisin, and really liked that. So yeah, I feel like the only routine videos you can expect right now, while I'm still figuring some stuff out, will be these new comic book day videos that'll either hit late Wednesday night or more likely Thursday mornings. So, or Thursday afternoon now, I guess. So yeah, thank you for your patience. Thank you for watching. If there's anything you want to see me talk about, or if there's any recommendations you have for me, please leave them in the comments below. Appreciate a like, appreciate a subscribe, and yeah, I'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks everyone.